Happy Monday. Another episode of the Monday Mindset. And today we're going to ask you one question. What is your Monday mood? Let's talk about it. Monday. Is that what we say? Is that how Monday Night Football comes in?
That's what I was like, I think that's like Monday Night Football.
Welcome to the Monday Mindset. The Monday Mindset exists for a conversation that offers reflection, encouragement, and next steps to kickstart your week. My name is Aaron, and as always, who I got with me?
Man, my name is Brandon. Man, I'm super excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, episode 19, we are getting to kick it off again, having a lot of fun, Brandon. Every week we look forward to it.
Yeah.
And we just want to do one little shout out real quick. We encourage you. How do we get this word out? I hope that has encouraged you. But really, we just encourage you to share this podcast.
Yeah.
Share this video with somebody on your Facebook, on your Instagram, whatever way you can. Just get the word out. We hope that's encouraging to you all, to at least a couple that we know that are out there, right? You know?
That's right.
But we have a lot of fun, don't we?
Yeah, it's a blast. And like you said, man, just share it with people. I don't know about you, but like whenever I get something good, I just want to share it.
Yeah.
I want to share it with someone. So, hey, if you're enjoying it, if you do think it's good, hey, give us a little like,
Yeah.
but share it as well.
There we go.
It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So, Brandon, we're kicking off a little Monday mood. What does that mean? What's that look like? We're going to kind of kick it off. Brandon, have you ever just worked for the weekend?
Oh, yeah. I've definitely worked for the weekend. Definitely. Even knowing what the week is going to hold. Like, whenever you're going to have a long week.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's...
Yeah.
Sometimes Other times it's like, oh, it's an unexpected long week.
Yeah.
But yeah, working for the weekend. If I can just get to Friday, if I can just get to Saturday,
Yeah.
if I can just get out on that lake, if I can just get out on that golf course,
Yeah.
come on now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Dude,
working
I've
for the weekend.
Been there. One of mine was, I used to be a lifeguard. And so that was it. Hey, I want to get my 4 days in and then just be free to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know, at that point, it was good times back then. But not it's good times now. But work for the weekend. I believe that we have a lot of listeners, a lot of people. This is it, man.
Yeah.
Monday is coming, and they ain't looking forward to it. So the Monday mood, oftentimes, is probably pretty down.
That's right.
Probably pretty
Hear
down.
the Monday blues.
Yeah.
Everyone's down.
What's the thought process on Sunday, you think, for people?
I think a lot of times that is, okay, what am I going to eat? Because people are getting ready to eat on Sunday. But then it's like, as you prepare for Monday, you just begin to dread. That's whenever, at least, even in my head, you hear the most complaining.
Yeah.
You hear it on Monday, but even it affects your Sunday to where it's like, man, I'm dreading this. I dread going to work tomorrow. I dread waking up. For instance, my wife, she wakes up at 4:30 every morning and goes to work. And it's like, I'm like, hey, what's wrong? Sunday night, I just dread waking up in the morning.
Yeah.
And it just gets you down. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh man, but that happens so often.
I know. And then the other thing, I hear my wife, she'll say this all the time too. I didn't get everything I wanted or I needed to get done this weekend. That's the other thing I think is crazy. Not only do we work for the weekend, but then oftentimes our weekend becomes just so jam-packed of all the things that we have to do. And then wives and moms, oh man, we pray for you. You all are the worst at this, is all the time thinking about, I've got 50 things I got to get done. And there's no possible way that Emily can get everything she has done on her list. You're being too hard on yourself.
That's right. You're your hardest critic.
Hardest critic, absolutely. Absolutely. So, what we see this, we experience this, man, even in my own life, you enjoy the free time, you enjoy the downtime. But a lot of people right now, we know you're in a hard job, you're in a hard place. And Mondays just bring on this new anxiety, this new struggle, this new pain, whatever it may be. But then we also know some of you are like, I love Mondays. You want to know why I love Mondays? Because that's my day off. That's why.
I was like, who says that? And then, oh, there we go. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Some people, they work on the weekends. That Monday is their day off.
Oh, yeah.
But really,
enjoying it.
Let's talk about it, Brandon. How do we kind of transform that mood? How do we take a Monday mood? How do you take your mood right now that you have? You may not be excited about the day. You may not be excited about what is in store for the week. You look forward to the weekend. But how do we transform our mood to where, hey, let's make today something special, let's really transform our mindset.
Yeah,
of what
for
that
sure.
Monday's gonna bring.
I think that a lot of times our mindset is so focused on what's wrong with it and what is like all the negative parts, and we begin to complain so much about, oh man, I gotta go to work, I gotta do this, it's gonna be a busy week, and everything is I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta get this done, I gotta. But whenever you do that, that's whenever the complaining continues to build, and you complain about what once you used to pray about. You used to pray, or you used to seek after at least the job you're in. You wanted that job at some point. I know, and that makes me think back even like school. How excited are you on the first day?
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, I get to start. Like, let's go. Super pumped to see my friends. Like, blah, blah, blah. New outfit, new shoes.
Yeah.
And it's like ready to go. Even with work in our life now, it's like, man, I'm so excited that I got this job. I'm so excited they paid this, and man, it's truly a blessing.
Yeah.
And a blessing can quickly turn into a curse in your mind if you constantly complain.
Yeah. And
so for me, it's like your Monday mood is just your perspective of how you're looking at things, instead of, oh man, I get to do this, instead of I got to do this.
Yeah.
And if you want to really reflect on that, and you want to change your complaining to gratitude, change your got to a get to. And it really flips that perspective for sure.
Absolutely. And I'm so happy you said that. Complaining to gratitude. There's a couple more that we got revealed with this past week. So me and Brandon, we had a great opportunity. We were sitting in one of our all staffs meetings, and most of the time, Pastor Daniel Lucas, he'll give a word for us. But this time we kind of tuned in to another pastor, Papa Greg. Anybody doesn't know who Papa Greg is? That's Papa Greg Groeschel. He's a dynamite pastor, man. Dude, how do you get that cut? Or just that strong? You know what I mean? Like he's just killing it in every aspect of it, isn't he?
Yeah.
Anyways, we had a little fanboy moment on Craig Rochelle, but he had this video that says 10 ways to last in ministry. 10 ways that you last in ministry. And actually one of them, I think that we really connected with, was to avoid complaining, comparing, and criticizing.
Yeah. So
the first one we are really, really good at, complaining. Man, are you a big complainer? Where do you feel like you sit there?
I don't know. Like I usually look like on the positive things, like usually, but it seems like whenever I do that, I'm stuffing a lot of stuff. So I seem to gush complaints. Whenever they do come, they come a lot. They come often. However, like as a whole, I like to see the bright side of things, and I like to believe the best in things. However, it's really easy to complain. Like it's really easy to.
Right. Dude, this is one of my biggest connect. This is a small way, and I've seen it triggered in like other areas of my life. I'm super anal about the way that like people cook, or OCD about the way things are cooked. And so that's even one of those little things, like Emily will start like cooking something, or somebody else would be cooking something. And I'll be like, oh, why are they doing it that way? Like, what are you doing? Like, do you not know how to cook or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, not being real negative, just start complaining about like the way that they're doing things. And all of a sudden just thinking like, there's definitely a better way. There's 100% a better way.
Oh yeah.
That you could do. And it's not coming out of like an improvement standpoint. It's coming out of like why in the world did you do that? And maybe that isn't even complaining. That's just me vocalizing my beliefs about it. Obviously, that's probably more criticizing in a sense. But I think for me, like complaining just comes from like, I have this perception that things should be a certain way. And whenever they aren't that way, I just start complaining. Or we start complaining about our situations, things that have happened to us. Sometimes I can just roll with it. I'm more of a stuffer too in a lot of things. And that's not good.
No, because then the complaints just gush out. And like, honestly, for me, like I was super convicted, just being raw and real with you all. I was super convicted whenever going over this, like whenever we had the opportunity to listen. And it was like, what is one thing that you can do and grow in this time? And for me, that was the one that stuck out. And it was a combo of complaining, comparing, and criticizing. However, complaining, it sticks out to me because it's like, how often do we? Like, even if we go through a drive-through and our the fries aren't hot, how often we complain instead of, oh man, I got some food.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it happens and we complain so often that it becomes sugar-coated.
Right.
But I think that it does deal with how we want it. And complaining is really, it's just like sin as a whole is a pride issue.
Yeah.
And it's about I. And that happens so often with complaining that instead of being grateful or thankful,
Yeah.
We're complaining all the time. All the time.
And then you start thinking about things that it begins to just impact your whole mindset, your thoughts. And then before you know it, that complaining is just, nothing is positive. Everything is negative.
Yeah.
And so the opposite of complaining is gratitude. We kind of started talking about gratitude. So I got some quotes with each one of these. Complaining will bring you down, but gratitude will lift you up.
Yeah.
I think that's so true, man. That's so true. I've seen that in my own life. If we can stop ourselves from complaining and just see, okay, where can I find gratitude in this moment? Where can I find gratitude in this season? Or where can I find gratitude in my job? Okay, that takes something that you feel like is negative and completely switches it to a positive.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that just like with thinking that way and how a lot of times we're so down on a Monday, like the Monday blues, if you're feeling down and not just tired, because you do get tired. It's not like, work is hard sometimes and you're just tired.
Right.
But whenever you're constantly going home and you take even work home with you in the sense of, man, you begin to complain to your wife, you begin to complain to your husband, you begin to complain to your kids that they're not doing enough and all these things. Complaining has a trickle effect as well.
Yeah, it does.
And it can cause other things to really that will affect your life. It's like, oh man. Yeah. But it's funny, like just with thinking about complaining versus gratitude, we have one day really, I feel like, that we give thanks, and it's Thanksgiving. Yeah. And it's set aside. But really, like, it's like, when's the last time that you've been like to your husband or wife, hey, I'm thankful for you.
Yeah.
To your kids.
Come on.
Hey, I'm thankful for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just thankful that you're my kid, and I just love you. Whoa. But then you begin to see, well, if I really did flip my perspective, and I begin to tell him that, then that's going to lift me, like that's going to lift me up. Like in comparison to complaining, it brings everyone's mood down.
Absolutely.
Everyone, not just you, but everyone.
Yeah.
And here's the thing though, with complaining, you'll feel good for a little bit.
Yeah, you will.
You'll feel good.
You'll justify it.
Yeah, because you're putting others down or you're putting something down. So you feel lifted up for a minute.
Yeah.
But then you go down even deeper.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the big thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that. And then you see your gratitude, your thankfulness brings everybody up in such a big way. Now, go to the next one. Impacts that Monday mood, comparison. You start comparing. And I think this is it, man. I'll be happier at a better job. I'll be happier with another wife. I'll be happier if my kids were more like their kids. You know, you can just fill in the blanks over and over and over. Dude, comparison. It's tough.
Oh, it's real tough, especially with social media.
Yeah. Are you a big social media guy?
I used to be, not now.
Okay. What's your social accounts? Which ones are you on the most? Which one do you find you're on the most?
Probably Facebook.
Yeah.
For like I'll share some stuff, but then also for my sports cards.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like I'm on Facebook, Twitter a little bit for my Kentucky news.
Sweet.
And then Instagram some.
Yeah.
It used to be Instagram all the time.
Yeah.
And then Twitter some, and I didn't even have a Facebook account until this past year.
Yeah.
So it used to be flip-flopped.
Yeah.
I used to be on Instagram all the time.
Yeah.
And it was dangerous.
Dude, what got me was the Facebook videos. I discovered that.
Oh,
See, and you used to be able to just click the video icon,
they can suck you in.
and then it was just like the same thing over and over and over. It finally got to where all I was watching was like funny pranks with like between like sisters or like sisters and brothers, or it was like a group of friends.
Yeah.
Before I know it,
And they would just
30
pop
minutes.
up. They just
Yes,
keep coming.
this is the same thing over and
Yeah.
over. But then they took that away.
I
It's
didn't
like
know
different now on
Really?
the on the version, or like the desktop version and all that. So praise God for that. Anyways, but all throughout that, comparison, man, is rooted. I feel like social media thrives off of it.
Yeah.
Like it literally thrives
Yeah.
in that way. You can see how many likes somebody else got, how many views something got, and all you're doing is then comparing that to somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's
How many
just,
friends someone
how
has?
many friends? Yeah. Oh, and then the crazy thing was how many people, the ratio. You heard of that? Like on Instagram. The ratio of people that follow you and the people that you follow. Have you heard of this?
No.
Yeah. Evidently, it's a big deal for you to have a small amount of people that you're following,
I have heard of this. Yes, I have.
you should have like a greater number of people that follow you.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like this ratio.
Oh, yeah.
And so like people are just unfriend people
Oh, yeah.
to get that ratio better in their favor. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. I
That's
remember
so
that.
messed up,
And I was
isn't it?
like, man, like, because honestly, I was like, there for a little bit, like, I was like, okay, like, this is my social, like,
Yeah.
whatever. And I had to realize that, man, I could use it, like, for ministering. So, like, people that were, like, wanting to follow me and stuff that, like, maybe I didn't have a deep relationship with, I'd let them. Simply because it's like, man, what if God wants to speak to them
Right.
through something? Like,
Right.
what? Like,
Right.
why am I gonna stop doing that? So, like, sometimes, like, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
People will do it just because of the way it makes them feel.
Yeah.
But with social media, just diving in a little bit deeper there, one of the things I noticed, and I really want to encourage the moms out there. All three of my sisters, they're moms, and I see even like in their lives, like how like they'll be following someone, and man, you always get someone's highlight reel.
Yeah.
On social,
Yeah.
you're getting their best. Like they're not gonna post their failures.
And
Their
when they do, it's buried in like,
cuteness of a kid.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look at what he did.
but then like, then even on the back end, they're just, oftentimes it's just a post wanting then to get more affirmation.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
still buried in whatever people view or the comparison aspect.
Exactly. But you begin to believe, man, I'm not a good enough mom. Man, I'm not a good enough wife.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not good enough. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And then you begin to complain even after
Yeah.
that. So I just want to encourage you that, hey, don't compare yourself to a highlight reel.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Comparison is a trap. Comparison is dangerous, and it can really affect you even within like even body image. Like I know that's a
Yeah.
big deal as well. That
Yeah.
man, I should look this way. I should be this way, and you do things in an unhealthy way to get there. And man, I want to encourage you to, hey, just keep your eyes on Jesus. Know who He has called you.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that a lot of times with comparison, it's really an identity issue.
Yeah. So let's get real. What's some of where do you find yourself comparing?
I would say for me, one, it's really easy to compare with other ministries. I know it's crazy like thinking like within a church, but like you see what other ministries are doing. You see how other youth pastors preach. You see how other pastors preach as a whole, even worship leaders.
Yeah.
Worship leading and all that. Like, man, I compare myself all the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I'm not going to be that. I'm not that good. We're not going to be that. We're not going to.
Right.
And I look at all those comparisons, and it's easy to get down on myself within that and being like, well, why should I even try?
Yeah.
Why should I even try then?
Yeah.
Like, why should I continue?
Right.
And
Right.
it's really hard. I will say this. I ain't gonna lie. It went through my head, and I was like, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it. I am going to talk about it because I think it's important, because I think a lot of times with men, we don't really talk about it. I don't know if it's something you've ever dealt with, but it's something that I've dealt with, and I still struggle with, if I'm being completely honest, is not only do girls struggle with body image, men do too. And for me, but a lot of times men like to stuff it and like, oh, it's fine. Like, I'm just this way, blah, 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 blah. Man, because that's growing up, I thought you were never supposed to talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and man, it's easy to compare yourself to like how like other dudes hold themselves, even other pastors. It's funny. You talked about it at the very beginning with Craig.
Papa Craig.
Man, how is he that fit and have it all together?
Yeah.
And it's easy to do. Yeah. And it's like, man.
Incredible speaker.
Yeah.
Incredible fitness, incredible leadership over and over and over. Yeah. I would say, well, that's funny. Thanks for calling me out, Brandon. That's definitely probably one of my, it's not so much, it's the qualities that people possess.
Yeah.
That's the one. And for me, it's like, okay, somebody's more educated than I am.
Yeah.
Somebody has greater leadership experience than I do. Somebody, kind of get into, somebody's able to communicate something better. They have a greater looking family. They're able to minister to all of their kids and still minister, whatever it may be. But there's qualities that people have that I don't, that oftentimes you're like, I don't have that.
Yeah.
So, man, if I don't have that, then there's no way I can do this. You know what I mean? But really, deep down, you do have those qualities. You do have those things, but they just look different. But man, or you just realize I'm not Papa Craig. And that's okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, I will say on the flip side, are there qualities that people possess that are admirable? Yes. Yeah. Are there great things that you can strive for? Yes. But oftentimes comparison doesn't lead us into that piece of like, okay, you know what? They're setting an example. I can be better. You know what I mean? We don't have that attitude. Normally it goes completely negative, and we just begin to just become down on ourselves and hard on ourselves. Mm-hmm. So, I think definitely people can connect in that. But the opposite of comparison is contentment. Just being content. The quote, comparison makes finding contentment 1,000,000 times harder. Whew. It's good, isn't it?
Sure does.
Man.
It sure does.
It's good. What if we didn't have like social? What if we didn't have YouTube? What if we didn't have those outlets? Could you imagine?
No.
I mean, I think we would lose a piece of a piece of greatness, I guess, or a piece of excellence to a point. Yeah. But then also we're just defining things based on, I take the worship. Elevation gets 1,000,000 views on one worship hit, and then we're like, oh, that's what people like. So that's what we have to be like. You know what I mean? And it's just, we do that with so many things, Yep. It's a trap, man. It's a trap.
It is.
But what it does, it transforms our mood. If you're all the time looking at comparison and comparing yourself to others, negativity through the roof. Your mood will be down. Your Monday will be down. And we're just going to be missing out on what God has for us.
Yep.
The last one, criticizing. What do you think about that one? Criticizing. Monday mood is impacted by how we criticize others.
Yeah, I think
criticize ourselves.
I was going to say, first off, one, a lot of times we criticize ourselves. And like I said at the beginning, we're our biggest critic. A lot of times, in a loving way, you're not as important as what you think you are. And I had to say that to myself. Like, people aren't looking at Brandon Sparks being like, oh, this. And I've messed up on songs before. And even my parents have been like, oh, I didn't know you messed up. And I'm down about it. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm awful. But you're your biggest critic. And
that's so good.
So often we put so much focus, and it's funny within all of them, pride. Yeah. And we criticize ourselves. And it's because I want to look this way.
Yeah.
I want to be this way.
Oftentimes going back to the comparison, or you have the standards. I've heard it said, I feel like I'm never good enough.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Speaking to somebody today, aren't we?
Yeah.
Come on.
So, with criticizing and criticizing others, it is so easy to point the finger.
Yeah.
It is so easy. It is so easy. And seeing that, maybe something didn't turn out, but let's say this. At a restaurant, someone brings your food, and, man, they bring it out, and it's not the way you wanted it.
Yeah.
And you begin, oh, they're the worst waitress or waiter I've ever seen. I could even do it better. I could go back there and do it better. And you begin to criticize them for what they've done. Little do you know that, man, they're trying to provide for their family and they just had a kid at home crying that morning
Right,
and waiting on the
right.
babysitter and they're having a rough day. And it's so easy to point the finger.
Yeah.
It's so easy to criticize others. And it's just one of those things where instead of criticizing, if you could just celebrate others,
Yeah.
changes it so much.
Game
Changes
changer,
it,
man.
Yeah, changes it so much.
And we find that just in encouragement. You start looking at all the things that people do wrong, or the way that you're treated, or keep going on and on throughout the list. But the quote I got: "Be an encourager, not a critic."
Mm-hmm.
Be an encourager, not a critic. And it really, I think it ties into all of those things that we've been talking about, complaining, comparing, criticizing. Man, it's so self-centered. It's so, just all-consuming what you feel, or what you feel like people are doing to you. But man, this one, encouragement, it really takes the focus off of you and takes the focus onto others, and how you can really impact their day and impact their life. It's a big difference. Difference for sure.
Yeah, I think it's super important too, at the end of the day, with criticizing. It's really with all of it, but specifically here with criticizing, I think it's just that we need to remind ourselves, man, how can I love people the way Jesus loves me?
Yeah.
How can I just love people?
Yeah.
And if you do that, I don't know if you have a boss or just someone in your life who maybe has criticized you all the time for all your work. It's not fun.
Right.
It's not building you up. It's tearing you down.
Yeah.
But have you ever been encouraged?
Yeah.
A kind word, even like maybe you've done something wrong, but they encourage you in the sense of, hey, listen, this could be done like this. Great job. I'm so proud of you for doing it.
Right.
It makes you want to do it. It makes you want to go. It gives you that even confidence about you. And so, yeah, like you were saying, man, encourage someone. But to do that, just love people. I know it sounds super simple, but love people.
Absolutely. So, man, we got three things here: complaining, comparing, criticizing. We believe that right now, and every single day, it's like a choice. You can choose one of those three things, and it'll change your mood. You can choose all three of those things, and it'll really change your mood. Yeah. But on the flip side of it is, you don't have to choose to complain. You don't have to choose to compare. You don't have to choose to criticize. You can choose the opposite of those things. You can choose to find gratitude. Mm-hmm. You can choose to find contentment in the day, and then you can also choose to be an encourager. So, Brandon, each of us, what's the next step? What's one next step?
Yeah, I would say going with all of these is, what are you thankful for? What are you thankful for today? Like, take a few moments and write down 5 things you're grateful for.
Yeah.
What are you thankful for? And it's kind of going off of whenever you're mad at someone, pray for someone. Because if you're praying for them, hard to be mad at them. Whenever you're thankful for something, it's hard to complain. Yeah. Whenever you're thankful for someone, it's hard to compare. Whenever you're thankful for the people around you and even your own life, it's hard to criticize. Right. And so I want to encourage you to, man, what are you thankful for? Write those down. Write down 5 things. Something that I personally had to do, especially you're your biggest critic. Mm-hmm. I dealt with criticizing myself, dealt with comparing myself, and I also dealt with complaining about even how I could do things better. Now, you can have that balance of like, oh yeah, I need to grow here and recognize that. But I was constantly complaining about myself. Right. So what I had to do was even put Post-it notes on my bathroom mirror. So the first thing in the morning, I saw, man, today I can have a good day. Why? Yeah. Because I'm loved. Why? Because I have a job. Why? Because I have a wife. Because I have a house. Because I have a great family. Because I have these things.
Absolutely.
And just showing that thankfulness. So I just want to encourage you to write down, just do 5 things. 5 things. A lot of times we like to look at the negative, but I'm telling you, if you look today, what are 5 things that even happened today? What are some things that happened today? Majority of the time, the good outweighs the bad, but we like to pull out the bad more.
Absolutely.
So write those down. Maybe use a Post-it note. Put it on your mirror.
I love that idea.
I don't know. And really change your Monday mood.
Absolutely. And mine definitely, I love the encouragement. I think, this whole thing, if you can take today and you could think of one person or find one person and just say, hey, you know what, I appreciate you, and I appreciate all you do. I appreciate the way you love me. I appreciate the way that you care for me, whatever it may be. I appreciate the way you treat me at work. Maybe it's going up to your boss. Hey, I appreciate all you do for our company and for providing me for a job. One of those things you're thankful for, whatever it may be. Probably this is a huge mindset shift. It'll change your mood. It'll change the way you feel. But all three of these things, gratitude, contentment, encouragement, we hope and pray that today that your Monday mood can begin to shift, that it can begin to change, and you can experience peace, happiness, joy, contentment, gratitude, and hopefully also find that encouragement within yourself. But we love you guys. It's been a lot of fun today, but change your Monday mood today. But guys, thank you. We'll see you again next time.
See you.